The Galactic Cartography Institute prided itself on mapping every corner of known space, down to the smallest asteroid. Yet for Captain Valeria Nash, the blank region on her holographic display represented more than just an unmapped zone. It was an impossibility that defied explanation. "Run the scan again, Lieutenant Dax," she ordered, her eyes fixed on the void that shouldn't exist. The Andorian officer's antennae twitched as his six-fingered hands danced across the control panel. "Same result, Captain. The quantum sensors detect nothing within the designated human territory. It's as if that entire section of space simply doesn't exist." The survey ship constellation hung at the edge of what the Galactic Council had designated as restricted human space. After centuries of mapping the cosmos, this was the first time they'd encountered a region that actively resisted their most advanced scanning technology. First Officer Kress, a towering Centaurian with iridescent scales, moved to stand beside Nash. "The humans are barely 2 centuries into FTL travel. This level of sensor disruption should be beyond their capabilities." Nash nodded slowly, her dark eyes narrowing as she studied the readings. The constellation was equipped with the most sophisticated mapping technology in the galaxy. It could detect quantum fluctuations from light years away and map subspace distortions in real time. Yet here they were, staring at what amounted to a cosmic blind spot. "Something's not adding up," Nash muttered. "Computer, overlay historical data from the past 50 years. The holographic display shimmered, showing a time-lapse of the region. Nash leaned forward, her breath catching as she noticed a pattern. There, freeze display, magnify Sector 7. The image zoomed in on a particular boundary of human space. What they saw made Kress's scales ripple with surprise. "The void, it's growing," the first officer whispered. Nash nodded grimly. "Not just growing. Look at the expansion pattern. It's perfectly controlled, advancing at precisely calculated intervals. This isn't natural phenomenon, it's deliberate." Lieutenant Dax's antennae straightened in alarm. "Captain, we're picking up an energy signature. Something's approaching from within the void." Before Nash could respond, a massive shape emerged from the darkness. It was unlike any vessel she'd ever seen, sleek, almost organic in its design, with surfaces that seemed to bend light around it. There were no visible engines, no weapon ports, nothing that matched known ship architecture. "Incoming transmission," Dax announced, his voice tense. A figure appeared on their main view screen, and Nash felt her assumptions about humanity shatter. The woman who addressed them appeared human, but her eyes held an ancient intelligence that belied her species' supposed youth. "This is Admiral Helena Frost of the Terran Defense Force. You've entered restricted space. Power down your scanning equipment immediately." Nash stepped forward. "I am Captain Valeria Nash of the Galactic Cartography Institute. We're on a peaceful mission, too." "We know exactly who you are, Captain," Frost interrupted, her voice carrying an edge of steel. "And we know the Institute has been probing our borders with increasing frequency. Consider this a formal warning. Human space is off-limits for a reason. There are technologies and truths the galaxy isn't ready for." As Nash watched, more ships emerged from the void, dozens of them, each more impossible than the last. They moved with perfect coordination, taking positions around the constellation in a display of precision that should have taken centuries to master. "But how," Nash found herself asking, "your species is so young?" Admiral Frost's lips curved in a smile that held secrets of ages. "Are we, Captain? Or is that just what we wanted the galaxy to believe? Return to your institute. Tell them what you've seen here, and remind them of why human space remains unmarked on their maps." The transmission cut off, leaving Nash and her crew staring at the armada of impossible ships. As they began their retreat, Nash couldn't shake the feeling that everything she thought she knew about humanity had been carefully constructed fiction. The galaxy's youngest spacefaring race had just demonstrated technology that made their most advanced sensors look primitive. The question wasn't how humans had achieved this level of advancement. The real question was, what else were they hiding in that carefully manufactured void? As the constellation jumped to FTL, Nash knew one thing with certainty. the galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. She had glimpsed behind the curtain, and what she'd seen would change everything. The age of human obscurity was coming to an end, and with it, the balance of power in the galaxy would shift forever. The Galactic Council chamber erupted into chaos as Captain Nash's report concluded. The massive amphitheater, designed to accommodate representatives from over 300 species, buzzed with concerned whispers and outraged shouts. High Counselor Zexther, an ancient Arcturian whose crystalline form sparkled under the chamber's lights, raised all four hands for silence. This evidence suggests, the High Counselor's telepathic voice resonated through the chamber, that humanity has deceived us all. Admiral Helena Frost sat calmly in the witness pod, her presence commanding attention despite being surrounded by beings who had ruled the stars for millennia. The slight smile playing at her lips only seemed to agitate the council members further. "Would you care to explain," Zexther continued, "how a species that claimed to achieve FTL travel merely 2 centuries ago has developed technology that renders entire sectors of space undetectable?" Frost's response was measured, almost amused. "We never claimed to achieve FTL 2 centuries ago, High Counselor. We merely allowed you to observe our first official FTL flight. There's a distinction." The chamber erupted again. A Voraxian representative, his metallic exoskeleton gleaming, slammed a mechanical appendage against his podium. "This is an outrage. The humans have violated multiple council protocols regarding technological disclosure." "Have we?" Frost's voice cut through the noise like a blade. "I've reviewed every council regulation. Nowhere does it state that a species must reveal all of its capabilities upon first contact. We simply chose to be selective about what we shared." In the gallery, Captain Nash watched the proceedings with growing fascination. The humans weren't acting like a species caught in deception. They were acting like one that had been waiting for this moment. High Counselor Zexther's crystalline form pulsed with agitation. "The quantum phase technology you've used to conceal your space. Our best scientists claim it should be theoretically impossible." "Impossible by your understanding of physics, perhaps," Frost replied. She stood, pulling a small device from her pocket. The council security forces tensed, but she simply held it up. "This is a quantum phase inducer, a child's toy in our society. Would you like to see how it works?" Before anyone could respond, she activated the device. The air around her shimmered, and suddenly the witness pod appeared empty. Gasps echoed through the chamber. A moment later, Frost reappeared, but now standing next to her original position. "What you call impossible," she said, "we mastered generations ago. The void in your maps isn't just hidden space, it's phase-shifted reality. Our entire civilization exists partially out of sync with normal space-time." The Voraxian representative's sensors whirred in distress. "Why maintain this deception? Why hide your true capabilities?" "Protection." Frost's expression grew serious for the first time. "History taught us that advanced civilizations tend to either conquer or assimilate those they consider primitive. So we decided to appear primitive while building our strength. Every human ship you've seen, every piece of technology we've shared, has been carefully crafted to maintain that illusion." Nash found herself recalling the impossible ships she'd seen, how they moved with organic precision. "Those vessels we encountered," she spoke up from the gallery, "they weren't just phase-shifted, were they? They were something more." Frost turned to her, nodding with approval. "Quantum neural architecture. The ships are partially conscious, grown rather than built. That's why they move the way they do. Again, technology your scientists would claim impossible." "And now," High Counselor Zexther demanded, "why reveal yourselves now?" "Because it's time," Frost's voice carried through the chamber with quiet authority. "The galaxy is changing. New threats are emerging from the spaces between spaces. You've seen them yourselves, the anomalies at the galactic core, the temporal distortions in the Carina sector. Humanity has been preparing for these challenges while you've all been mapping empty space." She gestured, and suddenly the chamber's holographic displays came alive with images that made even the most seasoned council members recoil. Vast cosmic structures, dimensional rifts, things that shouldn't exist in normal space-time. We've kept ourselves hidden not out of fear, Frost continued, but because we needed time. Time to build our defenses, to perfect our technology, to prepare for what's coming. The void in your maps isn't just our territory, it's a shield, protecting this entire sector of the galaxy from forces you haven't even detected yet. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just been hiding, they'd been standing guard. The galaxy's youngest spacefaring race had secretly become its most advanced defender. As the council members began to process this revelation, Nash noticed something in Frost's expression, a hint of concern behind the confidence. Whatever humanity had been preparing for, whatever they'd seen coming from beyond normal space, it had been serious enough to maintain this deception for generations. The age of human secrecy was ending, but Nash suspected this was only the beginning of a much larger story. The real question now wasn't how humanity had hidden their true nature, but what they had been hiding from. Deep within the quantum-shifted spaces of New Terra, Admiral Helena Frost stood before a holographic representation of the galaxy that would have made the Cartography Institute's maps look like child's drawings. Dark tendrils of something that defied normal physics were creeping through the galactic core, spreading like cosmic cancer. The dimensional rifts are expanding faster than projected, Director Marcus Chen reported, his weathered face illuminated by the ominous display. The Sentinel probes in the Carina sector went dark 3 days ago. Whatever's coming through, it's learning to adapt to our detection systems. The command center of humanity's hidden fleet was a testament to everything they'd kept secret from the galaxy. Quantum computers merged with biological neural networks, technology so advanced it bordered on magic. Officers worked at stations that existed in multiple phase states simultaneously, their consciousness expanded by neural interfaces that the rest of the galaxy wouldn't comprehend for millennia. The Council is demanding access to our phase shift technology, Frost said, watching the dark tendrils pulse and grow. They're threatening economic sanctions, trade embargoes, as if any of that matters now. They still don't understand what we're facing, Chen sighed. Even after your demonstration, they think this is about politics and power. A new figure materialized in the command center, Dr. Rajesh Patel, head of Project Oracle. His avatar shimmered with quantum uncertainty as he was simultaneously present in several research facilities across human space. We've completed the temporal probability analysis, Patel announced, his voice grave. Without immediate intervention, the rifts will reach populated space within 6 months. Once that happens, he didn't need to finish the sentence. They'd all seen the simulations. What about the Aegis Protocol? Frost asked, turning to face her colleagues. The question hung heavy in the quantum-shifted air. Chen's expression darkened. It's ready, but the cost would be catastrophic. We'd have to collapse the phase barrier around all of human space. The energy discharge would destroy 1/3 of our defense network, maybe more. And reveal everything we've built to the galaxy, Patel added. Every hidden outpost, every quantum forge, every temporal observatory, we'd be exposed. Before Frost could respond, a priority alert flashed across their neural interfaces. Captain Nash's quantum-encrypted channel, the one they'd secretly provided her after the council meeting, was active. Nash's hologram appeared, her expression tense. Admiral, we have a situation. The Voraxian Imperium is mobilizing their fleet. They're not waiting for council approval. They're planning to force their way into human space. Fools, Chen muttered. They have no idea what they're about to walk into. Frost's mind raced through probability calculations augmented by her neural interface. The Voraxians were among the most militant species in known space, and their cybernetic enhancement technology was second only to humanity's public facade. If they breached the phase barrier in the wrong place, at the wrong time. How long, she asked Nash. Hours at most. Their quantum drives are spooling up now. At least 30 capital ships, probably more joining them. Patel's avatar flickered as he processed new data. Admiral, if they destabilize the phase barrier in Sector 7, it could create a resonance cascade. The rifts would use that disruption to To tear through into normal space, Frost finished. Show me the projections. The holographic display shifted, showing thousands of possible timelines. In nearly every scenario, the Voraxian incursion led to catastrophic failure of the phase barriers. The dark tendrils from the galactic core would exploit the weakness, turning the Voraxian fleet into their first victims in this dimension. Captain Nash, Frost turned to the hologram, her decision made. I'm giving you classified coordinates. Get back to the council chamber immediately. Tell them. She paused, centuries of secrecy warring with immediate necessity. Tell them everything. Show them the data we're sending. Make them understand what's really at stake. And the Voraxians? Nash asked. We'll handle them, Frost's voice was steel. But not in the way they expect. Director Chen, initiate protocol revelation. Dr. Patel, begin power-up sequence for the Helios array. If we have to reveal ourselves, let's make it count. As Nash's hologram disappeared, Frost faced her colleagues. Humanity has hidden in the shadows for generations, preparing for this moment. If the galaxy isn't ready for the truth, we'll have to make them ready. Throughout human space, hidden stations began powering up weapons that defied conventional physics. Ships that could rewrite local spacetime emerged from quantum docks, and deep within the phase-shifted void, humanity's greatest secrets stirred to life. The time for secrecy was over. The real war, the one humanity had been preparing for since before they revealed themselves to the galaxy, was about to begin. And if the Voraxians wouldn't listen to reason, they would become an object lesson in why human space remained unmarked on galactic maps. The Voraxian battle fleet dropped out of FTL at the edge of human space, 40 capital ships strong. Their biomechanical vessels bristled with weapons that could shatter moons, their hulls enhanced with technology stolen from a dozen conquered civilizations. Supreme Commander Vexnar stood on his flagship's command deck, his cybernetic implants interfacing directly with the ship systems. Begin the incursion. The humans have hidden their secrets long enough. In the Galactic Council chamber, Captain Nash's hologram materialized before an emergency session. You don't understand what you're about to trigger, she pleaded, projecting the classified data Frost had provided. The phase barrier isn't just hiding human space, it's containing something far worse. The counselors watched in horror as the projection showed the dark tendrils spreading through the galactic core, consuming everything in their path. But it was too late. The Voraxian fleet had already begun their advance. Deep within New Terra's command center, Admiral Frost watched multiple realities stream simultaneously through her neural interface. In every timeline where the phase barrier fell, the consequences were catastrophic. They needed a demonstration, something to make the galaxy understand without destroying everything they'd built. Director Chen, she commanded, initiate the revelation protocol. Selective phase shift only. Let's show them what they're really dealing with. At the edge of human space, Supreme Commander Vexnar's triumph turned to confusion as his fleet's sensors detected a massive energy surge. The supposedly empty void before them began to shimmer, reality itself seeming to fold and unfold. What emerged made even the cybernetically enhanced Voraxian commander feel fear for the first time in decades. A vast structure materialized, a Dyson ring that shouldn't have been possible to construct, let alone hide. Around it, thousands of ships appeared, each more advanced than anything the Voraxians had ever encountered. By the eternal void, Vexnar's second-in-command whispered, what are we looking at? The truth, Admiral Frost's voice came through on all frequencies, accompanied by a data burst that overwhelmed even Voraxian cybernetic defenses with its complexity. This is a fraction of what we've built while you all thought we were learning to break light speed. The Dyson ring pulsed with energy that defied conventional physics. The phase barrier isn't meant to keep you out, Frost continued. It's meant to keep something else in, something that your incursion is about to release. As if on cue, the dark tendrils they'd been containing burst through the weakened barrier where the Voraxian fleet had been probing. Reality twisted as entities that shouldn't exist in normal space-time began to manifest. All ships, full retreat, Vexnar commanded, but several Voraxian vessels had already been caught in the dimensional flux. Their crews watched in horror as their advanced technology meant nothing against forces that ignored the basic laws of physics. That's when humanity revealed what they'd really been building. The Dyson ring flared to life, generating a quantum field that even the cosmic horrors couldn't ignore. Frost's voice carried a note of grim satisfaction. Initiate the Helios Protocol. What followed defied description in any known language. The ring created a localized bubble of altered spacetime, trapping the dimensional incursion in a pocket of engineered reality. Human ships moved with impossible precision, their quantum neural architectures allowing them to navigate the chaos while the Voraxian fleet could only watch. In the council chamber, Nash felt a fierce pride as she watched the display. "This is why human space remains unmarked on your maps," she told the stunned counselors. "We're not hiding from you, we're protecting you." The Helios Protocol didn't just contain the breach. It rewrote local physics, forcing the dark tendrils back through their dimensional tiers. The display of power was beyond anything the galaxy had imagined possible, and it was clear this wasn't even humanity's full capability. When it was over, the Voraxian fleet hung motionless in space, their cybernetic systems struggling to process what they'd witnessed. Admiral Frost's final transmission carried both warning and invitation. "Now you understand what we've been preparing for. The real war hasn't even begun. You can retreat to your territories and wait for the darkness to find you, or you can join us in fighting it. Either way, the galaxy now knows why human space remains unmarked on their maps. The choice of what to do with that knowledge is yours." 3 months after the Voraxian incident, the landscape of galactic politics had transformed beyond recognition. The Galactic Council Chamber, once a place of rigid hierarchy and ancient traditions, now hosted something unprecedented: the first Joint Defense Summit. Admiral Frost stood before representatives from over 500 species, her quantum neural interface projecting the latest data from the galactic core. The dark tendrils had spread to 3 new sectors, but this time, they weren't meeting defenseless space. "The Arcturian quantum forges have successfully replicated our phase shift technology," she reported, nodding to High Counselor Zexther. "Combined with Voraxian cybernetics and Centaurian biomechanics, we're establishing containment barriers faster than ever before." Supreme Commander Vexnar, now heading the combined fleet's tactical division, interfaced directly with the chamber's holographic systems. His cybernetic enhancements, upgraded with human quantum tech, rendered the threat projections in stark detail. "The dimensional entities are evolving," he announced, his mechanical voice carrying new harmonics of concern. "But so are we. The neural quantum hybrid ships are exceeding all combat simulations. Even the Dark Ones didn't expect us to adapt this quickly." Captain Nash, recently promoted to Director of Interspecies Integration, watched from her position among the human delegation. The change in the galaxy's power structure had been dramatic, but necessary. Humanity's revelation had forced every species to reevaluate not just their place in the cosmos, but their very understanding of reality. Director Chen's avatar materialized in the center of the chamber, his presence simultaneously broadcast to similar chambers across the galaxy. "Project Oracle's latest temporal scans are showing something new," he announced. "The entities aren't just running into our defenses, they're retreating." A murmur of surprise rippled through the assembly. In the 3 months since humanity had revealed the threat, the combined technological and scientific might of the galaxy had accomplished what would have taken humanity decades alone. The Voraxian cybernetic expertise, merged with human quantum science, had created defensive systems that could predict dimensional incursions before they occurred. Arcturian crystal technology, enhanced by human phase shifting, could now stabilize space-time itself. "They thought we would be easy prey," Dr. Patel's hologram added, his quantum-shifted form displaying data streams in real time. "They expected a galaxy of divided species, too busy fighting each other to notice the real threat. Instead, they found us united with technology that rivals their own dimensional manipulation." Admiral Frost stepped forward again. "But we can't become complacent. The Dark Ones are just the first wave. Our long-range temporal sensors are detecting more rifts forming beyond the galactic rim. Whatever intelligence is directing these incursions, it's learning, adapting. The real war is still coming. The chamber was silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had hidden their true capabilities not out of fear or mistrust, but because they'd seen this coming. They'd known the galaxy would need to unite, to evolve beyond their petty rivalries and territorial disputes. Sometimes, the only way to forge unity was through a common enemy. High Counselor Zexther's crystalline form pulsed with new determination. The Galactic Council proposes a permanent formation of the Joint Defense Initiative. All species, all territories, working together not just to fight this threat, but to push our civilizations forward. The Voraxian Imperium seconds this motion, Vexnar declared, his cybernetic systems interfacing with the Council's quantum network. Our fleet stands ready. One by one, representatives from across the galaxy pledged their support. Species that had been enemies for millennia now found common cause. Technologies that had been closely guarded secrets were freely shared and improved upon. Captain Nash caught Admiral Frost's eye across the chamber. They both knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was transforming, evolving faster than anyone had thought possible. The phase barriers that had once hidden human space now protected multiple sectors, strengthened by the combined technological genius of hundreds of species. The motion passes unanimously, High Counselor Zexther announced. The Joint Defense Initiative is now permanent. As the chamber erupted in approval, Admiral Frost allowed herself a small smile. The galaxy had changed forever, but change had been inevitable. The cosmic horrors pushing through from other dimensions hadn't expected to find a unified galaxy waiting for them. They hadn't expected their prey to bite back. In the quantum-shifted spaces, where humanity had hidden their greatest achievements, new wonders were already taking shape. Combined research teams from a dozen species worked on technologies that would have been impossible just months ago. The Dyson ring was being upgraded with Arcturian crystal matrices. Voraxian cyber networks merged with human quantum systems, creating defenses that could predict and counter dimensional incursions across multiple realities. The age of secrecy was over. The age of unity had begun. And when the Dark Ones finally launched their full invasion, they would find not a scattered collection of weak civilizations, but a galaxy united, armed with technology that could reshape reality itself. As the council session ended, Nash approached Frost. "Was this the plan all along?" she asked. "To unite the galaxy by revealing a common enemy?" Frost's expression was unreadable. "The threat is real, Captain. We just knew that facing it alone wasn't an option. Sometimes the greatest victory isn't in fighting the war, it's in making sure when the war comes, you don't have to fight it alone." Above them, through the chamber's quantum-enhanced viewing field, they could see ships from 100 different species moving in perfect formation, their combined technologies creating defenses that would have seemed like magic just months ago. The galaxy had changed, and with it, the future of all species had been transformed. Human space was no longer unmarked on galactic maps. Instead, it had become the heart of a new unified galaxy, ready to face whatever horrors the darkness between dimensions might send their way. The real war was still coming, but this time they would face it together.